Hello, good morning, traders. Welcome to another analysis session. Today is Monday, the 3rd, 2026. Now, get ready for analysis on for this London session. We're going to be looking at the dollar index. We're going to be looking at gold and a couple of other assets. So let's get started. So today we're looking first at the dollar index. That's the USDX. Now, there's the dollar index, and last week Friday we can see the market closed. I already have been marked out from my last week analysis. The market really closed on a resistance zone to close last week. All right, let me clean off some of these lines. Okay, you can see right there we have price hitting the resistance zone, and the candle for last week closed right on that resistance. Let me zoom out. You can see, and today's candle is already trying to form what is looking like a rejection candle. You can see it right there, the one in red. All right, so we are going to be bearish on the dollar index for this week. And don't forget today, this week we have very important event. Fundamentally, we're going to have the NFP, and this may play a big role in how we prepare towards the NFP. So we are going to be bearish on the dollar index this week. And a closer look also at this is showing me one very powerful pattern, and that's a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder. So if this works out, all well and good. But technically, either with the head and shoulder or not, I'm expecting a movement to the downside on the dollar index for this week. So with that being said, I'll be looking at the USD card because I'm seeing some possible movements on the USD card based on this event. Now for the USD card, I've analyzed this sometime last week also. We have an overall downtrend movement on the daily time frame. Can see we have an overall bearish movement. Now what I'm doing here is called top-down analysis. Top-down analysis involves looking at the higher time frame for trend and looking at the lower time frame for possible entries. So you can see price making a series of lower highs, a lower high, and another lower high right here on the daily time frame. Then we are expecting a confluence, a resistance zone, and another lower high which will coincide with the resistance, and that will lead to a breakout to the downside, and that will align with the fact that we're bearish on the dollar index. Now before that movement happens, I'm also expecting price to go ahead and hit the resistance, because presently price is not yet at the resistance level on the dollar index. I'm expecting this movement before the reversal takes place. So we have a movement of close to some 20-25 pips to enter into that resistance zone. From there we expect the breakout to the downside, and anytime that eventually happens, we can now zoom to a lower time frame like 1 hour. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. I'm expecting a movement to this place, then from there a breakout to the downside. So that's what I'm expecting on the dollar, I mean on the USD card. And to confirm my entry, I'll be looking at price, you know, uh, forming a trend line here, a rising wedge, which will lead to further confirmation of a bearish breakout. So I'll be bearish on the USD card for today and for the week. So let's just watch out for first price, closing up that gap up there, hitting the resistance and the trend line, which is a confluence, and breaking out to the downside from there. So I'm very, very bearish on the USD card for today. for this London session. It may spill over to the New York session and even beyond all that. So I'm bearish because I'm bearish on the dollar index. I'm also bearish on the USD card. Now I'll also be looking at the Euro USD and the GBP USD. Don't forget, I'm going to look at gold. So if you're there watching me, don't go. Let's quickly run through the Euro USD, GBP USD, then I'll check gold. If you're enjoying this analysis, go ahead and just drop a fire emoji in the comment section. If you're there, you're not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Drop a comment, share this video, and so that more people can see what we're doing right here. All right, so I'll look at Euro USD. Now, since the dollar is bearish, I'll be looking at a bullish movement on the Euro USD. All right, so I'll be expecting a bullish movement on the Euro USD. Okay, now this is Euro USD on the 4-hour time frame. Price, earlier on, the overall trend has been bullish. But then price, okay, let me start from the daily so that we can get a clearer perspective to this. On the daily time frame, price has been in an overall bearish trend since the whole of last week, and is trying to form what looks a lot like a triple bottom pattern. A triple bottom. You have a lower, higher low, higher low, higher low, and if that really completes as a triple bottom, then we'll be expecting a big move to the upside, and that will align. This is what I mean by triple bottom. Let me check this out. Triple bottom, 1, 2, 3, and a breakout to the upside. Okay, so that's what we anticipate on the Euro USD. So we can come down to a lower time frame like 4 hour and even 1 hour eventually to look out for possible entries. So let's scroll down to the 4-hour time frame. All right, so that's a 4 hour, but then the goal is for entry on 1 hour. So on the 1 hour time frame, you can see there is an overall bearish movement right here. So I can draw a trend line and I can draw a second trend line. So what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing the formation of what is looking like an inverse head and shoulder pattern is forming, which would likely trigger a move to the upside. All right, so watch out for this closely in the course of today. All things being equal, if it works out like this and we see a breakout to the upside, and one of our final confirmation will be a breakout above this minor resistance. It's not exactly the neckline, but it's an area, it's a zone price needs to break out above for us to have the clear bullish breakout we're expecting. So we're bullish on the Euro USD. All right, next one I'm looking at is the GBP USD. Now for the GBP USD, we'll start our analysis from the daily time frame. Now this appears I've been looking at for the whole of last week thereabout. Now this is called top-down analysis. If you want to know more about this, then you need to subscribe to my mentorship. All right, so on the daily time frame, there is an overall uptrend movement on the GBP USD. I think I need to clean off all this so that we can see it more clearer. can get a clearer view. It's also looking like a triple bottom on the daily, but the emphasis on this one is an upward moving trend line. All right, so here we see price making a series of higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and finally higher low. Now, today's candle is already forming a rejection candle, and that's right at this point. That's right at this particular point, and we equally have a support here. So technically, we'll be looking at an upward movement on it this week. Don't forget the fact that we are actually bullish on the GBP we're bearish on the dollar index. Now, just like I saw on the dollar index, there's equally a setup that is forming on the daily time frame here, a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and a bullish breakout. So we're looking for a massive breakout to the upside, but then we're starting from the lower time frame. So on the daily, everything is giving us the setup for a bullish breakout. So we can just safely go now to the monthly time frame. All right, so on the 1 hour time frame, let me remove this. On the 1 hour, we have a downward trend line, and we'll be anticipating a breakout. Looking at a breakout to the upside direction on the GBP USD. So we're bullish on both the Euro USD and the GBP USD. Now let's go straight to gold. For those who are lovers of gold, let's go straight to gold. If you agree with this analysis, drop your view in the comment section. I don't want to encourage you to say anything. Just drop whatever your view is. Just drop it in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Now, for gold analysis, I'll start from the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, there's actually a resistance up here. Okay. But then the emphasis for now will be, what I'm saying is that on the 4 hour, price may go to hit that resistance. But then if we look critically on the 1 hour, we can clearly see there's equally a resistance on the 1 hour time frame, a valid resistance, very, very valid. And the last 1 hour candle also closed as a rejection candle, which tells us that that resistance is likely going to hold. So what do? We can go down to a lower time frame. I will encourage a 5 minutes on this one. Go down to 5 minutes time frame. Now, okay, let me go back to 1 hour. Now, well, that's not what I wanted to say is that if price broke out above, we could see a breakout, a retest, a continuation to that resistance zone on the 4 hour. That's possible. But then price already broke out as a rejection candle. So I wouldn't want to look at that. We should rather be looking at a bearish movement. That's what I think we should look at, except if price still, maybe there's one, because gold is actually fundamentally driven at this point in time, and price decides to break out to the upside. Now we can experience possibly reversals on gold today, because there seems not to be much activity from United States and Iran. They are actually having a negotiation, and both parties seems to be sticking to their guns on what they want. They've not been able to reach a resolution. United States wants a co-control of the Strait of Hormuz with Iran. Iran wants complete control. So there's no agreement yet. United States wants Iran to completely end its nuclear uh, program. Iran says no. They still want to continue, even to advanced stage. Uh, Iran wants United States and its military bases to leave the Middle East. US says no. Our military bases still stay. So you can say there's no agreement yet. But if hostilities actually continue, price may actually break out above the resistance on this 1 hour and go to the 4 hours. But now that there seems to not to be agreement, we may actually experience a bearish moment on gold, which is what we are seeing technically, at the moment. So like I said, we'll draw down to 5 minutes time frame. And on this 5 minutes time frame, we can look out for possible reversal on gold. So price is expected to break out below the lower trend line. So we expect a breakout, a retest, and a final movement downwards. So I'm bearish on gold today. 5 minutes time frame. Watch this closely. It could break out any moment. Just watch it, because more so it seems to be forming a shoulder, a head, and a second shoulder. So I'm bearish on gold. I'm very, very bearish on gold on 5 minutes. Watch this very closely today. Okay, so just to do a little recap, I've looked at the dollar index. We're bearish. We're bearish on USD CAD on 1 hour time frame. We're bullish on Euro USD on 1 hour. We're bullish on GBP USD on 1 hour, and we're bearish on gold on 5 minutes time frame. All right, we're rounding up then. We can call it a day from this end. All right, I'll look at the CAD CHF. I've been watching this for quite some time, and I sincerely hope the breakout will happen in the course of this week. Okay, so you can see I have it all drawn out. That's the CAD CHF on the weekly time frame, all in a downtrend, all in a downtrend. Okay, is this one aligning? So because you can see this recent one, there was an alignment. Price is in an overall downtrend. Price is in an overall downtrend, and a resistance forming a confluence. So that's the daily time frame. We'll go down to the lower time frame, like 4 hour. So we can see that this axis here is our confluence, from where we anticipate, we may get some reversal, since price formed the confluence right there. Then I'll be looking at this region, as an area where I'm expecting breakout. So in the course of this week, if price is able to make a breakout below and retest, and continue, I'll be looking at selling the CAD CHF for the week. All right, that's going to be all from my end this morning. Oh, before I go, I think I should still show us what my expectation will be for. Let me just check something else in addition. Okay, I want to just add something. And that's the forex factory. That's also will give us a clearer view of expectation in the market for this week. All right, so this is the forex factory. That's a website where we check for upcoming news events, and I want to just show us key events we should watch out for in the course of this week. It's really based on the currency pairs that we have mentioned. We've looked at the dollar, we've looked at the euro, we've looked at a host of instruments like that. Now we're looking at on the euro. We are going to have German prelim CPI today, Monday. German prelim CPI, and from the German prelim CPI, you know, uh, we are bearish on the euro and we are bullish on the euro USD. So if the data comes out good for the dollar, I mean, good for the euro rather, that will really be good because that will push the euro up, in line with our analysis. And we say we're bearish on the USD. We can see that 3:30 p.m. today, Monday, Fetcher Powell is going to speak. If the speech is favorable to the dollar, and we're bearish on the dollar, that is expected to push the dollar downwards. And Tuesday, that's March 31. You can see here. Let me just scroll down so you know it's the next one I'm talking about. On Tuesday, there's going to be core CPI flash estimate and CPI flash estimate on the euro. Again, if this comes out good for the euro, then that will push the euro USD again to the bullish direction, which is our analysis. And for the CAD is 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday. We're bearish on the USD CAD. That means if we get a strong CAD, then USD CAD will go in the bearish direction. So this is how we can use our fundamentals also to gauge, all this analysis that we've done. And on Tuesday, also by 3 p.m., we are expecting jobs job opening and CB consumer confidence from the United States. Now we're bearish on the dollar. If all this data comes out bad, then that will encourage the bearish movement of the US dollar. On Wednesday, we have ADP non-farm employment change, core retail sales and retail sales. We're expecting a bearish direction based on what we saw on the dollar index. And also by 3 p.m. Wednesday, there'll be ISM manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing prices. All these are expected to go bearish because that is what we're seeing on the dollar index on the daily time frame. On Thursday, well, we don't have any CHF, so let's not talk about that. And but unemployment claims United States comes up 1:30 p.m. on Thursday, and since we're bearish on the dollar, we'll be expecting the data to come out, bad for the dollar likewise. And finally, on Friday by 1:30 p.m., we have the biggest event, which is non-farm payroll (NFP), and there are three events combined together for that. That's the average hourly earnings and non-farm employment change and unemployment rate. Since we are bearish on the dollar, except market structure changes between now and then, we'll be expecting to look out for a bearish movement on the NFP. All right, so that's going to be all from my end this morning. If you enjoyed this analysis, go ahead and click the like button, like this video, share this video, drop your comments in the comment section. And if you want to be mentored on how to trade the market like this, just look around this video. You see my contact details there, you see my WhatsApp number, reach out to me on WhatsApp, and our training schedule for the month of April is getting really filled up. People are signing up. Now, the slots, we have very few slots remaining. If you don't want to miss it, so just reach out, register so that you can be a part of that mentorship program. And you can also join my Telegram channel for free analysis and other trading tips. All right, that's going to be all from my end this morning. Trade safe and have a great week ahead. Bye bye.